Hi everyone, I'm Marc Brackett. Welcome to the Dealing with Feelings Strategy of the Week. Today's strategy is going to be called Temporal Distancing. And I want to thank Dr. Ethan Kross for his insights around this important strategy.
We're often much better at advising other people on their problems than we are giving advice and taking it ourselves. We've actually given a name to this phenomenon, Solomon's paradox. It's named after the Bible's King Solomon, who is probably the wisest individual in history. I think if you hear wisdom, King Solomon comes up. He's really good at weighing in on other people's dilemmas, but when it came to his own life, he made a slew of terrible decisions.
Ethan is a professor at the University of Michigan, a friend, and author of a great book called Chatter. And he's most well known for his research on many kinds of distancing strategies. Distancing strategies center on the notion that we're generally better at giving other people advice than dealing with our own emotions. That's the distance piece. What his research shows is that when we temporarily shift our perspective away from ourselves, it helps us to weigh in on our problems, as if we're thinking about someone else's problems. And when we do that, we get some distance that frees us up to be more objective about how to deal with our own emotions. Today, we're going to focus on temporal distance. And the question we ask ourselves when we use this strategy is, will this really matter that much to me tomorrow, in a week, or in a month? Why does this work? Well, when we're activated, we tend to think about all the current issues we have related to the feeling. So for example, when I get angry at my partner, I start thinking about all the other thousands of other times that I was angry or that he drove me crazy. And we lose sight. So now let's try to use the strategy for real. Think about a time in the last week or so when you were irritated or angry or frustrated about something or with someone. What was happening? Who was it with? Now just take a moment and ask yourself, do you still have that same level of anger or frustration or activation right now? Or has it settled a bit? Most likely it's settled just a little bit. What research shows is that it's hard to use this strategy in the moment, but we can try. And it can help by saying something like, Mark, is this really a big deal? Is it worth breaking up your marriage about? Is this canceled flight really going to mess up your entire life schedule? The big question for us is, can we pause to engage in some mental time travel to see how we might be feeling about it at another time at a later date? So for example, in my situation with the canceled flight, the truth was I ended up having an entire day to myself to do some writing. It was one of the most productive days I've had in weeks. The key point here is that we tend to overestimate the impact of our current emotions when we're in the emotion. But if we give ourselves a little distance and engage in some mental time travel, we'll likely realize that the intense feeling won't last forever, or at least it will become less bothersome over time. Pretty good lesson to learn. So now it's your turn to try distancing. In the comments below, I'd love to know your thoughts about this strategy. I'm also happy to answer any questions you might have. And on that note, may you all engage in healthy mental time travel.